want to talk about the Colts and what the cure for the Colts needs to be because
Give her luck.
yeah, man, this man Andrew Luck. Right now, the Colts are leading the division somehow.
Horrible division.
Somehow they're leading the division at 3-4.
You have a resident Jaguars fan and a resident Titans fan on this panel. This division's awful.
It's honestly hard to watch.
The funny thing about the division is the Titans and Jaguars find ways to make entertaining games. They'll stay in games until about the fourth quarter, and then they turn into the Titans and the Jaguars. Although I do have to give Blake Bortles and Jacksonville their credit. I did say if I got proven wrong, I will admit it. And so far, Blake Bortles has proven that he could be a franchise quarterback.
Thank you.
So I will give him his credit, and I will give the Jacksonville Jaguars their credit for constantly improving week to week. But other than that, the division's horrible.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the butt. All right, all right, but
what you gotta say, Frank?
Okay, so what is the cure for the Colts? Like, what do the Colts have to do to turn it around? I mean, Andrew Luck was the chosen child. Yeah, he was a prodigal son, and now I mean he has them at a 3-4 record, where most of their wins came under a different quarterback.
Shut him down.
Yeah, so what is the cure? I mean, is it the coach?
I mean,
is it the GM? Is it the quarterback? Like, what do the Colts need to do to turn the season around? Kyler, let me start off with you since you were about to say something.
If the wins is coming from other quarterbacks, I think you know what the problem is.
But see, there's a problem if you do that though. See,
he was the number one draft pick.
I'm thinking the same exact thing. The backup's getting you the dubs.
Matt Hasselbeck at 40 years old.
But if you shut him down, if you shut Andrew Luck down, that whole executive board is gone.
You just got yourself fired.
I understand that.
The owner of the team is firing himself.
Basically. And the coach is firing himself for that horrible punt play they did.
So that's what happens if you shut him down.
Play.
But shutting them down is what's going to get you the win.
Like this, these were Andrew Luck's stats from this past Sunday against the Saints in a loss.
Horrid defense, Saints.
23 of 44 passes.
How many?
333 passing yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns but 2 interceptions
against the Saints.
So
does anyone know who their DBs are?
Hey,
if someone can tell me 2 Saints DBs, I might buy them Chick-fil-A.
I gotta tell you 2 though.
You gotta tell me 2.
Right. That's the problem.
Oh God.
I know Kenny Vaccaro because he came from Texas, but who are their cornerbacks? Do they have them?
They got hurt.
Don't they just have wide receivers play defense?
Is one of their corners Greer?
Isn't one of their cornerbacks Drew Brees? I thought he played everything on that team.
It's Greer.
He might as well.
And then Jabari Greer?
I think he retired.
No,
that was in the Super Bowl. That was a minute ago.
I think he's still there. I think he's.
I can't.
But
come on. I can't.
But
you please you address it because I got to take my hater glasses off of this because I detest the call.
Oh my God.
The Colts.
Nobody.
What you gotta do for the Colts? See, and what I'm about to say earlier though, if you need a FanDuel defense, you always pick the defense against the Colts because he's always bound to throw you interceptions. At least 2 a game. See, that's the problem with Andrew Luck. He needs to go. He needs to do. He's having what Tony Romo had earlier in his career. You know, constant interception. He needs to change his game plan now.
Interception syndrome.
Yeah. He needs to change his game and start throwing shorter pads. You can't always try to go deep to Dante Moncrief or T.Y. Hilton.
That's
what gets you interceptions.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But how much of that goes on play calling too? I mean, obviously the play calling was different with Matt Hasselbeck in the game
because they know they don't have faith in Matt Hasselbeck for throwing the ball deep, but they think Andrew Luck can, even though Andrew Luck is like pick city.
So how much of it is on Andrew Luck and
a lot of
coaching staff?
80% of it's on Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 80.
He's the one making the decisions.
I would say 60-40 because when obviously you know he has a tendency to throw interceptions. So why are you gonna keep trying to make him throw deep? True. But it's also on Andrew Luck to be like, hey, I need to stop throwing these interceptions. Stop trying to throw it deep. Right. Like you have every play has a check down route.
This is about to be a monologue.
Every play has a check.
I hate the Colts. I've hated the Colts since I was born. I was born hating the Colts, resident Titans fan. But I will take my hater glasses off for this show.
Okay.
So objective.
Okay.
Taking the hater glasses off.
Taking them off.
Okay.
Unleashing the
ownership.
The unbiased.
I'm gonna start from top down.
Oh man.
Ownership and GM. Andrew Luck has not been protected in the pocket since he's gotten drafted, and none of you have found it necessary to draft or sign offensive linemen. That's on you. Andrew Luck has not had a successful running game since he's been in Indianapolis. And then you sign Frank Gore, but then don't fix the run or pass blocking. That's on you. The coach, Pagano, you ran a Pop Warner trick play in an NFL game. That by itself means that you should get fired. There's no other way to say it. Not only did you run a Pop Warner trick play, but you did it wrong. The punter is supposed to be in shotgun.
Why was your punter under
center?
Like, I don't understand
Why was your punter under center
with
three?
Punter. It was a safety.
Why was your safety under center with 3 defensive players in front of 1 offensive lineman? How did you think that was going to end?
Did you read Bill Belichick's lips when he saw
yes,
it? He was like,
"Yes."
What the hell was that?
One of my favorite quotes from that day, and it was actually a tweet from Skip Bayless, was, "What was that?" Because no one knows what that was. But then we get to the main problem here, and that's Andrew Luck. And I do think he deserves most of the blame because, as Pagano has said, you've been here for 3 years and you haven't had protection. You can't blame that because you've had good seasons. You've been here for 3 years with those same wide receivers, and they added Andre Johnson. So you can't really blame that because you've been dealing with that. My problem with Andrew Luck is no matter what he does, they seem to find some sort of an excuse for it. He's gotten progressively worse every single season that he's been in the NFL. You can check the stats. He's gotten worse every single year.
He's got worse, but his team's got better.
Exactly. His team has gotten better, but he's gotten worse. He's thrown more interceptions than any other player that I can see and gotten more passes than any other player I've ever seen. He throws at least 2 interceptions a game. That's Jay Cutler range. And we put Jay Cutler, we put that man out to dry.
Yeah.
And Jay Cutler has actually had a good season this year. Led his team back twice and won 2 late games. Andrew Luck is in the business of throwing 2 picks early in the game, getting his team behind by a huge margin, then padding his stats by throwing 300 yards against prevent defense, and then people saying that he's the greatest thing to ever happen in the NFL. That's what happens. I'm sorry, but that's what happens. Both the number 1 and number 2 picks from that year were not who we thought they were. Point blank.
Well, I mean, he's had 1 bad season though.
No. He had 2
good seasons.
There's a difference between having 1 bad season and progressively getting worse. See, he's done the exact opposite of what RG3 did. RG3 came in, lit the world on fire, and then just went straight from that to crap. Andrew Luck came in the league, lit the world on fire, and went from lit the world on fire to he's cooling down to is this the same Andrew Luck to this year?
But you also got to look at his weapons that he had, because T.Y. Hilton was getting hurt at that time. And some of those time periods of when his production was going down.
Look, like I said, here's the thing. When Peyton Manning was on the Colts, he had Jacob Tamme.
Here's the difference.
Time out. You want to compare him to Peyton Manning. You want to put him in Hall of Fame categories. He has to do the same thing.
I personally didn't do that.
You didn't do that. What I'm saying is the general consensus is that he's a Hall of Famer. He's the best quarterback to come out since Peyton Manning and them. You got to do the same thing that they did. Peyton Manning took scrubs and made them into players that were getting $1 million contracts.
I don't know if Reggie Wayne's a scrub.
No. Okay, I'm talking about Brandon Stokely, Jacob Tamme, and those players. You didn't hear about any of those guys till Peyton Manning got his hands on them and then sent them off to have careers other places where they did absolutely nothing. So now you're telling me no, Pierre Garçon was all right, but Peyton Manning was the one who turned him into that. He was a nobody, was on a team with Peyton Manning, and then he went to the Redskins, and he has a good game every now and again.
But I mean, he also has Kirk Cousins. I mean, let's give the receiver some credit. I mean, the receiver. I mean, you still need somebody to throw you the ball. Larry Fitzgerald was a great quarterback. Great wide receiver with Kurt Warner.
Well, he played quarterback too.
He was a great. He had his best receiving years with Kurt Warner. You take Kurt Warner out the mix, Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals went under the radar. You add Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald's revitalized.
That's very true.
Some of it you gotta give some credit to the receivers. In some cases, I mean, Peyton Manning's a great quarterback.
But is Jacob Tamme a great receiver?
I mean,
no. Say it. Go ahead and say it.
I mean,
that's a no.
Yeah.
That's a flat out no.
Great.
What I'm saying is, T.Y. Hilton is one of the fastest people in the league. Constantly gets himself open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, regardless of how good you want to call him, he is a weapon.
He is a weapon. I'm not saying he's not a weapon.
Andre Johnson had great seasons with wait.
Andre Johnson's falling off though.
Andre Johnson has had great seasons with Matt Schaub and had a pretty decent season last year. What I'm saying is, even if he's falling off, Marvin Harrison got to play in the old age because he had a great quarterback.
No. because he had a great quarterback. I get it, but I'm saying Andre Johnson. Let's not forget Andre Johnson. His best years, that was with the Matt Schaub that was balling. That was Matt Schaub when he was balling. That was
That's very true. But there was a point in time where when you looked at best receivers around the league, he was in the top 5. Point blank, period. You can't take a top 5 talent that's coming towards the end of his career with a great quarterback, and he just turns into nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they don't just turn into nothing. You have to throw him the ball. Andrew Luck has not been doing that. Or if he did, it's been inaccurate.
Yeah.
Point blank, period, he's gotten worse. I don't know if they need to get him with a quarterback coach. I don't know if they just need to improve the line. I don't know if they need to give him a running game. I think to answer the initial question, how to fix this, give him a running game and an offensive line. Same way they fixed Tony Romo. They gave him an offensive line. They gave him a running game. Now look at Tony Romo. Confident, making the right decisions. He doesn't even really need the running game anymore because he knows where the ball's supposed to go.
All right, say your last point.
All right, I want to tell you what happened to Andrew Luck. I remember in Space Jams when the talent was taking to put on the ball.
The Monstars took his talent.
Blake Bortles has the ball. And took the talent.
Blake Bortles took. I think what happened.
Andrew Luck is going down.
See, I think what happened was Mariota took his talent week 1, and then Blake Bortles has borrowed it, so now he doesn't have too much left. They didn't leave any left for the Texans quarterbacks to be sorry about that, because Ryan Mallett and Brian Hoyer.
Ryan Mallett gets stuck in traffic.
Y'all listen. Yeah, come on.
Ryan Mallett only throws the. Ryan Mallett only throws the ball commercial. So
come on. Okay.